Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2.
Not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with it?
Testing 1 2 1 2.
If you don't go, you'll never shine if you don't glow. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. All that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. It's a cool place, and they say it gets colder. You're bundled up now, wait till you get older. But the media man beg to differ, judging by the hole in the satellite picture. The ice we skate is pretty thin. The water's getting warm, so you might as well swim. The world's on fire, how about yours? That's the way I like it, and I'll never get bored. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. All that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold.
Geezy Truth News. Yeah, put mine aside. Thanks.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play.
Mm-hmm.
Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. And all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars.
Brought to you by Fabio Productions.
As good as spare some change for gas. I need to get myself away from this place. I said, yeah, what a concept. I could use a little fuel myself, and we could all use a little change. Here we go.
Mm-hmm. Blast off. It's RNS time. Mm-hmm. That's right. Alright, let's get this thing on the road. Alright, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you. And welcome to Geezy Truth News. Thank you. We're back in action. We got more news than ever, and we got plenty of things to talk about. All right. Thank you very much. Let's start. It is June 5th, 2019. That's right. And you're tuning to Geezy Truth News. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. And welcome to the GTN network. We got plenty of stuff to talk about, plenty of things, as always. Updates and all the kerfuffles. Open lines should be open. People call in, correspondents call in. We were supposed to have an interview on tonight's show, but I believe we're rescheduling for next week. And we'll talk about the predecessor. We'll talk about what's happening. And, you know, what can I say? Microcosm, macrocosm. Plenty of things. Lots of sneezy. It's pretty amazing. All right. Well, let me get things dialed in here. Thank you. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, Our technical engineers are telling me right now that we may experience some technical difficulties on tonight's show. So just in case, as a forewarning, I think, this happens so many times, we might as well just have a, forewarning, previous mention every time or something. But yeah, so, what is it? Let's get the news on. Let's see what's happening. Let's go with the markets. And we'll talk about our special story. We've got a special story today. But we'll talk about all the general stuff first. And then we'll go over to our special story. Looks like the quote of the day is, quote, "If voting made any difference, they wouldn't let us do it," end quote. And that was Mark Twain. So there you go. And that's brought to you by the Mike Rivero show. ThatReallyHappened.com. It's a great website. Highly recommend it. Great guy. Mike Rivero is one of the truthers of all time. The most important ones of all time. Huge respect. So anyway, all right. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate it. But let's get on with it, though. We got a lot of things to talk about and lots of corruption to unveil. Lots of, what's going on? What's new? We already know what's going on. Just like Mark Twain said, it's all corruption, voting. None of that matters, obviously. So let's see the highlights of now. So the first highlight, it's talking about Fiat Chrysler withdraws proposed merger with Renault, and that's the whole thing with the stock market. We'll get into economics later, but that's we already know what's going on with all that. But it's amazing they keep propping it up. So that's what happened. I thought it was gonna. I'm sure a lot of people thought that it was about to happen. It's like, okay, here we go. Every day negative, 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 and then the past couple days, wow, that's a rally again. What's new? So here's to the second one. Oh, and this is an explainer. How the U.S. Congress could challenge Trump tariffs on Mexico. And here's the thing, we got plenty of problems here. Oh, what's going on here? Do we not have the ringer? Oh, here we go. Looks like the... Hello and welcome to Geezy Truth News.
Oh, I didn't realize you guys were live on the air. Is this live?
That's right, yeah.
Well, I knew that there was going to be a show tonight. I was looking for the broadcast. I was having trouble finding it. Glad that I made it online.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, we'll definitely get the technical engineers on that one. I'm not really sure what the deal is there.
Yeah, so I would be following along with the show, except I don't know what the topic is. So what's the topic tonight?
Well, there's plenty of topics. It's obviously current events and whatever's happening, and obviously the two most important, pedogate and the Fed. But we do have a special story on tonight's show.
The one about in the Dominican Republic with the people that they found dead?
No, but would you like to chime in on that, or what's going? I haven't heard that actually.
I've only heard little snippets of the story, but apparently they found like 5 people dead in a hotel room in the Dominican Republic for unknown reasons. No signs of foul play or anything like that, just bodies.
Well, so what's the deal? Were these people important, or like nobody knows nothing?
I think they were American tourists. My guess is they got involved with the wrong people in the wrong place.
Yeah, but I thought you said there was no foul play.
Yeah, exactly. That's the crazy part. They must have been poisoned.
Well, if the biopsy or autopsy report, whatever, if they do that, they'll find out. But
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. But I thought that was the main story of the night. Anyway, what I did want to talk about. What's your thoughts on the trade wars between China and Mexico?
What, the trade war between China and Mexico?
No, I mean that the trade war the U.S. is having with China and Mexico. What do you predict is going to be the final outcome?
Oh, well, I mean, in my opinion, obviously, I mean, I'm definitely pro tariffs, and I definitely think that's a great idea. The problem is that, I mean, there's a lot of, like, where do you even begin? Bottom line is it's massive corruption all across the board. So what do you expect? So yeah, I'm pro tariffs, and you know, in the end, you're asking me what should happen or what's probably going to happen. What's going to probably happen is probably nothing, as always, because nothing ever happens. We always talk about all this stuff, but nothing ever actually happens. And this is the sad state of arrays that we have here. Now, what's going to happen is that there should be tariffs, there should be import tax, there should be all this. You know, we need to be hitting the hammer down on especially China. Mexico I don't have that much of a problem with because not everything is made in Mexico. I don't have a problem with things being made here and there once in a while, you know, like it used to be, allegedly, you know. This is what it was prior to the agreements with China. Now, as we all know, 99% of everything, or 90%, or, you know, whatever the exact number is, but mostly everything is made in China. So that's my problem. And the thing is it's not just my problem, it's the United States problem, and potentially a global problem. But what it's pretty multifaceted.
I think apparently, so I've heard Mexico is going to come to the table at some point, and if Trump wins 2020, apparently the Chinese won't be able to hold out for that long because so much of their economy relies on we're their biggest buyer.
Exactly.
So,
and maybe that was the strategy all along. If that's the case, kudos to you, Bill Clinton. But I don't think that was the whole game plan.
What do you mean, Bill Clinton?
Well, apparently that's who they give. Before Bill Clinton, everything was made in, you know, Norway, Germany, this and that, all kinds of places. And then after Bill Clinton, everything was made in China. So.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I think, you know, Trump he likes to play the hardball card. So I think this is you know, his style of diplomacy is you know, he can use a similar style of foreign diplomacy like he did for his businesses. Think what you want on that, but you know, for what it's worth, he made a pretty big impact in his personal business. So I think he's just using the same sort of tactics.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens, because the problem is that there's always these talks of important things happening, and then nothing actually happens. And
welcome to the world, my friend.
Yeah, it's sad, and I don't want to just act like it's I mean, look, man, things are getting interesting as always. It's the same old song and dance as always. And they keep propping the economy up or whatever, but you know, there's a time where you can't do it anymore, and whatever that needs to be, whatever needs to happen with that, so be it. If we need to go on this massive trade war to put it in people's heads that, you know, things are not as what they seem, then okay. But the problem is, there is no problem. It's going to work itself out eventually. You know, equilibrium pans out.
This is the funny thing. I'll tell you what let me give you my 2 cents on this. You know, you're pretty, I guess, skeptical of the economy, as it seems from just your position on past shows and stuff that you've said. Mm-hmm. So if there's any reason for a crash to happen, these trade wars would be the perfect excuse. But as we've seen, probably since the end of, probably in the last year, if you at least analyze the stock market, just use that as your means of analysis. I mean, of course, there's other parallels. That's been trading at a consistent range for the past year. So if there was any reason for people just to, for the stock market to crash, the tariffs would have been a perfect excuse, in my opinion. What a more convenient excuse for everything to fall out.
Right. So if it happens, so that's why that's why this trade war thing is a big deal apparently. But in the end, it's just a joke, because it's beyond that. It's beyond that. It's like it's not like can't fight 25% of soybeans to because we have to tax it or whatever, and because we're not great. I understand that. I understand all these little tidbits, soybeans and rice and this and that. I get it. But the thing is that like all of this has been going on for so long. The lobbyists, the corporations, the corruption, the this, the that, the Congress people, just being sellouts or whatever. All this, I mean, just all of this over and over again. This is why they say that the next crash is going to be like very bad. Like, this is the first time that they actually say, they themselves, the Market Watch, I go on and check it out, and the Market Watch, the economists say themselves that the next crash is going to be.
Economists talk and they say nothing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But this is what everybody's been saying across the board, that the next crash is going to be huge and serious and detrimental. You have to understand why. Why was 2008 not that bad, and why was the crash prior to that not that bad? And yeah, they were bad, but none of those are going to compare to the next one. And you can ask any top financial economist or whatever. You can ask anybody; they'll agree.
Listen, man, hysteria sells. That's why they do it. Why are all the headlines on the news about everything being bad? Orange man bad. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I did hear that, and that's about Donny Boy, and that's a whole different thing. That's like people just getting butthurt about Donny Boy. That's like very minuscule and very besides the point. The point is that it's this next crash is inevitable, and this is huge deal. Huge, this is. It's the disparity of the top 99, bottom 1, or top 1 and bottom 99, and whatever, all that stuff. And so, yeah, of course the economy is going to look great. Imagine, it's like the top 1%, if you keep plugging away, if you're going to keep plugging it in, then it's going to keep showing it's looking good. Because who's making all the money is the top 1, not the bottom 99. Who's the bottom 99? How many people even know, are even playing into that?
All right.
It's not as what it seems.
What advice do you recommend to all your listeners to prepare themselves for this horrendous crash?
Nothing. I'm not trying to be a doomsday guy either. It's like whatever happens, happens. What you have to understand is the truth. You have to understand. Look, there's a difference between good and evil. I mean, you can get philosophical and blah blah blah. But when it comes to this, the country, the people, the U.S. citizens, the world. But you got to take care of your own backyard first. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's why Donnie got elected, isn't it?
Yeah, but the problem is that he hasn't done a whole lot of things. I mean, he's done a lot of things, but at the same time, he hasn't done anything, and this is how it goes. And the thing is that it whatever happens, happens. So what am I gonna tell you? Go buy yourself a gun and a can of beans. It's like, look, you could do whatever you want. It's like you do whatever you want, but
now,
you have to be serious.
I'll tell you the interesting about this presidency, and it's been the case since the 2016 presidential election campaigns, is that this guy, just when you think he's going to do something that's critically and fundamentally just going to like a bad move, things either turn out opposite, or you're just completely surprised. Like you're just a outcome comes out that you don't expect. Like, oh no, the world's gonna ending. Donald Trump got elected to president, and then the next thing you know, everything is perfectly fine, and he's actually not doing so bad. Then he starts a trade war with China. Oh no, the economy is gonna collapse. Doesn't even really affect anything. It's just crazy. Every time you think this guy's making a bad move,
he is making bad moves. It is really bad. You're saying things are not that bad, but what you have to understand is that things are very bad.
Relative to what, though? That's my question. We have the strongest economy in the world right now, I believe.
Relative to what, dude? Relative to what? Relative to yourself. Relative to ourselves.
No.
Who
Relative to the rest of the world.
That's outrageous. That type of thinking is nonsense. It's like the guy. It's like the guy next to you killing himself, and you being like, "Oh, at least I'm not killing myself." What kind of pathetic, weak attitude is that? It's like just because everybody else is doing bad, and you're doing slightly better, that makes it okay? That's your logic right now. Is what it's like. What you just said.
So, in your opinion, what's your definition of a good economy?
A great economy would be an economy that is based upon real purchase value and real work and real authentic, backed by real. The money is backed by real. Anything, whether it's backed by gold or backed by silver or backed by seashells or carrots, I don't care what, but it's got to be backed by something. Right now, it's not backed by anything. And you could say the petrodollar, but the petrodollar is not backed by anything either, because that's all regulated. Everything's regulated, and that's not. And the thing is that it's not even regulated, because the Federal Reserve does the quantitative easing and the fractional reserve lending and the stimulus package and this and that and this and that, and so it's like you can't say that the economy is doing great and meanwhile pumping trillions of dollars into the economy. You can't. How can?
Yeah, I guess unless it's obviously that would be a perfect world, and it used to be like that until 1913 when they invented income tax.
Well, yeah, I mean the beginning of the end was
actually
1913.
No, I think the U.S. dollar was backed by gold well after 1913.
Yeah, Nixon is who took us off in like 1976 or something like that, or 73 or something like that. He is the guy that really cemented it, but every president has just cemented it more and more. The guy after him, what was it, Reagan or something? He did Reaganomics. He did a complete catastrophe of everything. He messed everything up. Every president since JFK. JFK was the last guy that tried to do something good. He tried to.
Yeah, and then he got assassinated.
So this is the world we live in. This is what we deal with. But it's like, this is why I'm here. It's like I'm not afraid.
If DJT got either assassination attempt or assassinated by the government. People
are not. It's like people don't understand, but the people who do understand don't know what to do, or the ones that do, there's not a whole lot of them or something. But I do believe the good guys are winning. This QAnon thing that I was gonna talk about after this, and then I still wanted to talk about the special report. But bottom line is that all these things are happening. But the internet, I think, is the saving grace. A lot of people say the internet is horrible, but I hope I think it's the saving grace. People are more woke.
With the internet, you live by the sword and you die by the sword.
Right, and the thing is that look, a decade ago, nobody knew who Rothschild was. I remember a decade ago talking to people about Rothschild. Nobody knew who that was. Now, 10 years later, I hear there's a movie coming out. Did you hear about that? They're making a movie out of the guy. And I don't know if it's like portraying him as bad or good or what, but it's like now they're making a movie out of the scumbag. So now you got the Rothschilds making the movies or whatever. It's like people are more woke. Now you ask someone who Rothschild is, chances are they know him. So it's like it's one step at a time. You know, people are waking up, and the whole thing is disparity, and I mean the whole thing is inflation, and the whole thing is just. That's what you have to understand. You're asking me how can you tell the economy? You think that the economy is doing good? How can I prove to you that it's not doing good? Just look up the inflation rates. Just compare the inflation over the years. You know, we talked about it on the last show, if not the show before that. I mean, a 14-year-old kid was making $3.50 or something like that in 1972 or something. Now, if you convert that same kid is making that same $3 is now like $20, like $19-20. And how many people are making that kind of money? Like a lot of people are not making, like a lot of people, there's millions of Americans without work, can't find a job, can't find nothing. People are broke.
Yeah, but how do you figure this one?
80% are in debt.
Wage is $15.
Huh?
You can be a complete dumbass and live like a king washing dishes because the minimum wage in Seattle is $15. So maybe you're not right.
What I'm saying is that the 15 is not enough. The 15 is less than minimum wage. If you think about it, again, you have to understand how inflation works. Like none of that is worth anything. The money that you have now that's called purchasing power. The money that you make today buys way less, way ridiculously less than what it could have bought in previous times, in previous years.
Yeah, that's why you got to invest the money you have now at the value it is now into some sort of an asset.
Sure, but not everybody is as lucky as everybody, and not everybody has inheritance of generations of family wealth and this and that. It's like I understand, dude. Like Donnie Boy.
Never too late to start.
Never too late to start at all. And I'm a capitalist. I'm a huge capitalist. I completely agree with work hard, do what you got to do, and work hard and play hard. But the problem is that it's not capitalism anymore. That doesn't work anymore because it's not capitalism anymore. It's now a charade of I don't know what you'd call it. I mean, it's fake. It's like not capitalism. It's like faketism or something like that. Because it's not worth. I mean, take out a dollar bill out of your pocket or out of your wallet and read what it says. It's a note. It's a piece of paper. It's backed by nothing. It's worth nothing. It's called fiat. It's worth nothing and it's backed by nothing, and it's you can wipe your ass with it. That's about as much as you can do. So that's the whole thing, and that's why they talk about that's why you can read the disparity between the old adage of the rich get richer and the poor get poorer is true. There's more homeless people, and the rich are getting richer, and the poor are getting poorer, and not to mention the middle class is getting disintegrated. I don't know if people talk about that or how often people talk about that, but apparently the middle class is disappearing. It's disappearing quick. And again, you could talk about all these nuances.
What's up with all the fake news about unemployment being low, wages being gradually increasing?
That's exactly what it is. It's fake news. Because they use ridiculous equations to calculate the unemployment numbers. If what you have to do is multiply it by 2. If they're saying unemployment is 3, then at the very least it's 6. If they're saying it's 8, then at the very least it's 16. Like it's whatever equations that you can look up. It's public record. You can look up the equations that they do, and these equations that they crunch they're outrageous. Like it's not the correct of doing it. They're not talking about a huge majority of Americans, they're only calculating people who have been looking for work in the past few months and this and that, and then they have this equation that skews the numbers heavily. I mean, this is nothing new. They've been doing this for years, and this is nothing new. It's old news. Problem is that, you know, people need to wake up and figure things out, and it seems like people are waking up. Seems like people are figuring it out. And that the good guys are winning. I'm not gonna try to act like a charlatan and sell you on, you know, Bitcoin is the best thing, buy Bitcoin, or buy cardboard boxes, that'll save you, like, save the world, or whatever, you know. It's like, I'm not gonna tell you, like, there is no answer. Well, the answer is the truth. The answer is knowing the truth, or being educated. Educate yourself, understand what's going on. Most people, I mean, I was, you know, it's sad. It's just sad that you have to learn about all these sad stories. But this is the world we live in. In a perfect world, there would be no sad stories and this diaspora of sad people and corruption and, you know, inflation and the Federal Reserve and the Rothschilds and all this pathetic stuff going on and this pedogate stuff and all this stuff. You know, it's like, yeah, who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? I sure as hell couldn't have made all this crap up.
Well, man, I mean, what do you want to do? Coddle every fucking citizen of the world? And, you know, that's part of life. Some people get ahead, some people don't. It's called natural selection, Darwinism. You know?
It's very true. It's very true.
Life was never fair. It still isn't fair. Get over it. You know, do your part. But at the end of the day, you know, someone's gonna fucking get the shit end of the stick.
Yeah, it's very true. And you know what? That's exactly right. That's how things go. And I just, you know, that's why I think that the good guys are winning. The good guys are winning, and it seems like people are waking up, though, is what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, back then, there was only a few people with know-how. Now it's opening it up. Now there's people apparently in the military, this QAnon thing, these military operations that they're doing, this spec ops or whatever. There's apparently good people, white hats, they call them. There's white hats in the military, maybe white hats in the government. Who knows? How many white hats in Congress? I can't tell you that. But
what do you mean white hat?
Like good guys. Well, the thing is that it's like it's like bad and worse, or like, it's like, you know, you could say whatever you want. All I know is what I've read and what I've researched, and there's, you know, the whole shindig with the Congress and the whole shindig with all this is that they need blackmail. That's how they get you. It's through blackmail, and that's why this is why it's been going for so long. It's because they have blackmail.
Listen, what about the old saying, if you can't beat them, join them?
Yeah, that's true as well. But the thing is, I usually agree with that saying, but not when it comes to, like, pedophiles or, like, it's like, I mean, these pedogate stuff. I mean, there's a limit, dude. It's like, yeah, you can't beat them, join them, in terms of whatever, business or, you know, whatever you want to talk about, any subject. Or, you know, but in terms of, I mean, this is such heavy duty stuff. It's like, you can't, what, are you going to join if you can't beat them, join them, what, are you going to join the pedophiles?
Yeah, but most people are against that.
Most people are against that, but yet
I wouldn't say the pedophiles are winning, man.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. The good guys are winning. That's what I hope. Right, they're at the top right now. I mean, the pedophiles or whatever. I mean, there's some serious stuff, man. Like that interview that I had last show with Kevin Annette. I mean, he's been trying to crack down on the Catholic Church, on the Vatican, for God knows how many years.
Yeah.
Well, you know? And those guys are like one of the ringleaders. They like talk about pedophilia. Those guys are boinking kids left and right. And where are they getting all these kids?
Man.
You know, it's like people have been trying to do their best to research. It's like there's some stinky sneezy going on. That's the whole thing.
You don't gotta tell me, brother.
There's some stinky stuff, man. Apparently 800,000 kids a year just in America, just in the United States, go missing.
Yeah.
We have all these pedophile rings, apparently. You know, we have all these, and we have proven cases. We have all these cases. The Ghosh story and the Franklin story, just in the U.S. And then you have that one guy. And then you have that, oh, God, man. What about that politician, that clown? That clown politician who killed kids.
I remember his name was,
Was it John Gain or something?
what?
What was his name?
The guy from, I think it's like Chicago or something, Blagojevich or something? Rob Blagojevich?
No, you're talking about that. I think that was just a corruption scandal, like with money. I don't think that had any to do with kids, or maybe I'm wrong.
Rod Blagojevich. Was that it?
You're talking about what? The politician who
Guy
raped
from,
kids?
Yeah. Is that
Who,
what you're talking about?
Who he raped and buried kids under his basement?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. They're just a bunch of sick.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So this guy was a politician. This guy was named Ed Gain or something, or John Gacy. I think it was John Gacy. There's something like that. You can look him up. And this guy was like a prominent figure in society, allegedly. And he was like in politics, and he was a clown. He was like Bobo the Clown or some shit. I mean, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. And what was he doing? They found I don't know how many kids they found a bunch of kids under his basement that he was raping and killing and torturing or something. And the point is that it's not just that guy. Like whatever that guy did, he got kicked out of the club, is what I'm trying to say. And he was just he just got kicked out of the club. You think he's the only guy doing that? Everybody's doing that.
Like you said, man, the good guys are winning, and we're doing our best to
That's right.
put the bad guys away. So
That's right.
listen, it's been a great conversation. You know, all of the power to you. Keep putting on your show. All right.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. But before I go, can you blow me up?
Yeah, for sure. There you go.
Man, you have a good night.
You too.
All right, bye.
I don't even know. I'm going to have to figure that one out. So, anyway, we'll get back to the basics here. But yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, this is what's happening. So, I understand some people don't want to talk about it. It's very understandable. I mean, there's some very serious consequences of very serious stuff happening. But, I mean, for me, the whole reason why I do this, the whole reason why anybody does any of this, I'm sure, is because it's like, how can you live knowing these things are happening? Or like, how can you live? You know, the more I delve down the rabbit hole or whatever, you see all this crazy stuff, or you read all this crazy stuff, you think it's like, holy crap, this is like beyond imagination. But yet, it's right here in front of your doorstep. So, anyway, so now that we're done with all that, maybe we should finish up with the economy, and then, or should we start with the special report? So we'll just go, let's just start with the special report. So the special report, and actually I don't have the documents, I was supposed to obtain the documents for it. Can't seem to find them. We'll work on that later. But, so here's the deal with the special report. This report is the Leisure World report, or I don't know if it has an official name yet or not, but well, I believe we'll have a guest on next week's show talking about he went through this Leisure World thing. There's this corporation called Leisure World, and apparently they do a bunch of corruption and, you know, steal a bunch of money, and, you know, the classic corruption case or whatever. And this guy, his name's Paul Ballard, and his family entered this Leisure World. His parents entered this Leisure World, And what happened was that they ended up taking everything. When his parents passed away, they ended up apparently in the contract. So from what I understand, and we'll have him on the show to clarify everything next time, is that they signed a contract. In the fine print, it says that when you pass away or something like that, they get to keep all your assets, houses, money, bank, whatever, everything. So the thing is I would say a contract is a contract. However, if the contract is illegal, then the contract is not valid. So that's the whole thing. But from what I understand, Paul Ballard did take this to court, or he did his best to take it to court, or maybe even up to Supreme Court or something. He took it to as high as he can, and the judge threw it away. Obviously didn't care. So, and his experience is real estate, so he is very well versed with real estate law and this and that. So he is very adamant in saying that the contract is illegal. The whole organization of Leisure World is very illegal. It's like a retirement center, but they do it in this very intricate, sneaky loophole type thing. But it's still illegal. It's like they attempted to loophole, but it's still technically illegal under real estate law or something like that. So he caught it and he took it to court, but he failed. I mean, he's still working on it. He's still doing the whole thing. It's still working with the biggest lawyer firm in the entire world, DLA Piper, and that's the documents that we'll receive. I'll talk about next time. So, and that's pretty much that in a nutshell, and that's to be continued, and we'll hear a whole lot more of it later. So, but this Leisure World is located, I believe, in Orange County, California, and it was made in like the 50s or something like that, in the 50s or 60s, and so they've been doing this, and it's not just Paul Ballard. There's plenty of people out there who have been going through this the scandal. People have been getting ripped off, all this money, corruption, blah blah blah, and who else knows what else? It sounds like their pockets. It sounds like they have the judges in their pockets. They have the lawyers in their pockets. They have a whole army of lawyers apparently, and so they take care of all that. So that is called, I would call it the Leisure World scam, or the Leisure World corruption, or whatever you want to call it. And they do it in a sneaky way. And they have I think at Leisure World even has a parent company called Golden something, company. And they take care of the finances, or who knows, but they have a bunch of all this stuff. So anyway, that's the special report. Hopefully we'll get more info on that next week, and we'll see how that goes. And we'll go ahead next with the economy. And so, like I was saying, it was in the negatives the past few times, past week, the past couple days. I mean, it rallied at 200. It went 200 points up today. The Dow is 25,539, which is crazy. It's like you think that things are about to happen and things are getting ready, but apparently not. So that's what that is. It was going down. Gold looks like it went down. It's at it's 1,300. 1333. So, but that's because that's usually what happens with the inverse, and same with Bitcoin. We take a look at there. It also took down because when the economy goes up, it's inverse, pretty much. So it's let's go 7,800. Bitcoin right now is at 7,800, 7,859. So this is where we are at, folks, and we'll continue to stand by and see what's going on. This is all inevitable. It's amazing. I say it over and over again. It's amazing that they've propped it up this far, but at the same time, it makes sense because, like I said earlier, they got the 1% pumping it. It's like, why wouldn't you pump it? You got the 1% has like most of the world's wealth. That's the whole deal. So Of course, you know, if I was a Rothschild, I'd be pumping the market too, because, you know, it's good for me. It'd be good for me. So, all right. Well, I think that's about it. That'll conclude tonight's show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Keep in touch. We'll see what's going on. And we'll be posting links. So, updates are coming, and thank you very much. Jeezy is out. Thank you.